Hello, my dears. Welcome to another installment of Art History while I put things on my face with me, Peacocks and Honey. Feel free to subscribe and like this video. Would love to have you along for further videos. Thanks so much for watching. Today we're talking about Constantin Brancusi's Bird in Flight from 1913, the one particularly that he took to the Armory show in New York. Brancusi was one of the sculptors in France. He was a Romanian living in France, and his work was really, really incredible. He took the essence of a thing or of a person or of a feeling and made that into a sculpture. You could say that he was the grandfather of abstract sculpture, the minimalist giant monoliths that you see at college campuses, in front of museums, in front of public spaces. But Constantin Brancusi started this distillation of one idea into a single object. I'm going to start by putting some Kjaer Weis foundation on my face. It looks like a cream, and I really like this because it has like a recyclable sliding container that closes. When I say recyclable, it's reusable, not recyclable. You can pop this little pan out and put a new one in. I like this because it works as a concealer and as a foundation at the same time. So I'm gonna take my damp beauty sponge, and then just kind of like do this. As I apply this to my face, Brancusi had some artwork on show at the Armory show in New York. The Armory show was an incredible art show where different artists from all over, like the States, and there were some from Europe, would show a lot of their new work. And it was kind of a way for people to see, not only artists, but also the general public to see what art looked like around the world and what was new and emerging. So, and in some of the later shows you have Marcel Duchamp's urinal became a popular one. You have, and that is the food dispensing for Neela's afternoon tea snack. So she's gonna be chomping away. It goes very thinly. I really like this. Oh, by the way, my sunscreen is already soaked in, so we're good. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put on a little bit of beauty oil. This actually makes it blend a lot better. So the beauty oil, it looks really fancy, but it's actually just rosehip oil that I have decanted into this really pretty container that has a dropper. So I'm going to take maybe like 3 drops. And since I've already put some of this foundation on my face, I'm gonna take these 3 drops, just kind of warm it between my hands. You know how sometimes you forget to do a step and then you just add it on later? It's totally fine. I normally do this before I put on the foundation, but this is totally fine. It mixes it in and makes it blend really well. So Brancusi is bringing his work to the show in New York. He's coming from Paris, and he's bringing Bird in Flight, which is a giant golden brass polished piece of metal. The funny thing is that when he tries to get it through customs, it gets categorized as a piece of kitchen equipment in order to get it through. So that's a fun fact for you. We've got this all blended in. So you really didn't need much here. Just kind of even out my complexion a little bit. Cool. next, let's do some blusher or blush. I like blusher. So I have my Salt New York palette, and I have put some of my favorite cream tints in here, and I've also put some of my favorite eyeshadows in here. So I have some cream tints here, and then I also have some different eyeshadows. So we're gonna start with some of the cream tint pros from Salt New York. Little pink on the sponge. I like this color because it's very similar to the color my face turns whenever I get a little too cold or too hot. And normally I use my fingers, but sometimes I want to be fast and use a sponge. And it feels a little like tiny massage using a sponge, so I like it. Put some on my nose, some on my chin, a little up here. What I love most about Brancusi's sculptures is that he made several editions of them, of the same sculpture, even replicated over and over in slightly different ways out of different materials. And he would make them out of stone, out of marble, out of wood, out of metal, and then he would polish them by hand until they became so shiny that you could see your reflection. So now what I'm going to do is take this, probably like a burgundy red color. Let me see if I can get you a better picture of it. So it looks like this. You're like, whoa, that's a little intense. What are you doing with that? It's actually gonna go a little bit right there, a little bit on my cheeks, kind of deepen that up a little bit. That way there's more of a wash of color. And my face turns red also, not just pink, so it looks a little more natural for me. And we're gonna take this brown color here. This is like a contour shade. And people are like, oh no, what contour? We're gonna take this contour shade, and it looks really kind of grayish brown, but it's perfect for kind of carving out the hollows of your cheeks. So I like to take it a little bit up here. And don't worry, we can blend that out. Take some a little bit here. And then just blend it up. Just kind of a little bit like close to where, if I were to do that, the hollow of my cheeks is there. But it gives a little bit of added dimension to my cheeks. And now we have Bird in Flight at the Armory show. And it's a really incredible piece. In order to replicate, well, there's not a way to necessarily replicate that on my face. But what I do want to do is make my eyes kind of look like chromed metal. So we'll see if we accomplish that today. This is a small pan of eyeshadow, and it's from Sydney Grace, but it's called Peach Harvest. I don't know if you can see it that well. Zoom, zoom, zoom. There we go. A little bit. If I swatch it, you'll really be able to see it. It's kind of like a gold bronze color. Looks more green here, strangely enough. Actually, it has a little bit of a duochrome shift to it. I like it. I never noticed that before. That's pretty cool. Okay, we'll do that one. Oh, and this one. It's more of a silvery color. Also by Sydney Grace. It's a loose shadow called Tiara. Let me do a little bit of another swatchy swatch. So, yes, that's more of the gold, wet, shiny look that I'm going for, I think. I think we're gonna do that. One wonderful thing I love about Brancusi is that while he was in his studio towards his later years, he stopped selling and even making some work. And what he would do is he would rearrange his sculptures all over his studio. Rearrange the pedestals, rearrange the pieces on top of the pedestals, to the point that the individual sculptures became stacked in really interesting ways with other sculptures, so that the pedestal became a part of the sculpture. His studio became an environment of sorts where you could visit his studio, and he loved to give tours. You would come into his studio and everything is covered in white sheets. All of the sculptures are covered. So it's almost like a performance is about to happen. You're about to sit in on this incredible performance. Don't worry, we're gonna keep blending. I don't have any brushes near me, so I'm gonna use my fingers and kind of show you, like, you can blend with your fingers, it's totally fine. You just need a clean rag to wipe your hand off on. And at this point, Brancusi is an, older man. He's in his kind of retirement age, in his like 50s and 60s and 70s at this point. He's ready to show you his sculptures. And he walks over and takes his hand and pulls off the sheet. And you can see the sculpture. And he goes from one to the next, one by one, and pulls off the sheet to reveal what's underneath. A very performative man, Mr. Constantin Brâncussi. He loved showing off his studio. Then afterwards, you would get Romanian tea and cookies. Doesn't that sound delightful? Oh, that's the dream, actually, is to have tea and cookies at an art show. That's in someone's home. And private. That actually sounds really lovely. Maybe we'll do that. And now we've kind of gotten to the point now where, because I've added something dark on my lids, my under eye is looking a little dark. So sometimes you need concealer, sometimes you don't. I think in this case, I'd like a little color corrector to even that out. Where is the little sucker? There it is. Okay, I'm gonna pull out again this Becca Under Eye Brightening Concealer. This little pink stuff. Oh, that really helps. Yes. Sweet. And we're gonna do some more blending. I've got this big old brush. Normally I'd use a small brush, but this is the closest one to me and I can't be bothered to go find another one. So I'm gonna kind of keep blending that a little bit. Where were we? Tea and cookies. Can you imagine loving your artwork to the point that if someone buys something, you make a replica just to take its place in the studio, just so that you could always remember where it is and it stays in its same place for you to rearrange it? That's incredible. If you hear some crunching, Neela Kitty's ready for her afternoon tea time, so she's having a snack. Now, we're gonna put on this wet looking shadow, a tiara, right on the middle of the lid. Yes. Oh, that's pretty. And I didn't even get more. Like, this is what's just on my finger. It's really incredible. Might have gone a little overboard there, but you know what? I'm not mad about it. kind of like a gray, grungy, smoky eye. And I have hooded eyes, so when I look straight at the camera like this, you can't see much, because when I open my eyes, the lids are hooded in. A lot of people have this, some people don't. But especially Instagram models who do eyeshadow for a living, they definitely usually don't have hooded eyes. But I like my eyes the way that they are. I'm making a mess with eyeshadow all over my arm right now. So let me clean up and I'll be right back. And here's Miss New, come to say hello. Hello, New. You come to say hi? Maybe she's come to say hi. She's also investigating what's happening behind my back, which is the absence of pillows. When there is absence of space, she must know what has happened. Oh, she might settle down. Okay, so now I'm going to do something on my lips. Let's take the same color that I had on the cheeks. Just kind of use it as a stain. Spread it out a little bit. I like that a lot. Almost forgot eyebrows. Gotta fix those puppies. So let me brush these babies up a little bit, just so I can see where they are. My dream is to someday hold art shows like Brancusi in my home studio and serve you tea and cookies and pull sheets off of paintings and sculptures. That sounds wonderful. The sun is out, so I wanted to show you the finished look. Thank you for joining me today as we learned about Brancusi's Bird in Space and did a little playing with makeup. See you next time, my dears.
Hey, ma'am. Oh, so relaxed. Yes. Hi. It's good to see you.